One God, one man, one beast. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Wow.
Hey,
Stupid.
perfect tagline for a perfect movie.
Hate everything.
This is episode 229 of I Hope You Suffer. I am good at picking movies.
I thought we were gonna do one is the badge and one is the Bible
I know.
and one is the Bigfoot.
I thought we were going to do God, Man, Beast, but...
Look, there's still three of you.
Oh yeah. Pick one.
Katie's the Bible.
I don't think so. I'm also not the badge. I would definitely want to be Bigfoot out of the three.
Oh, no,
We're all Bigfoot.
Bigfoot got the
Big,
piss beat out of him by some generic white dude, so...
well, I
I take
Big-
umbrage with this film. There's no way Bigfoot would lose a boxing match.
there's no way.
So, we are talking about easily the worst movie we've done on this podcast, 2019's The Badge, The Bible, and Bigfoot, with returning guest, demon, and Christian movie enthusiast, Shayne Mathis.
I fucking hate you for making me watch this movie, Nathan.
I-
Like the worst 60 minutes I've ever spent.
Oh my god,
life.
the absolute longest movie I've ever watched, and it's only 66 minutes. It was...
Yeah.
I swear I've watched this movie for like 7 hours.
I fell asleep, and I don't know what I missed, because most of the movie is just like assholes walking around in the woods.
You didn't
In the
miss
woods,
anything.
yeah.
It's literally nothing happens until the last like 10 minutes of this movie, and even then it's just a dude fist fighting Bigfoot and punching a tree in half, and then like having a revelation that monster movies made him a bad person, but not being a vet and a cop for fucking 2 decades.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting there to be a surprise twist ending in this movie about Jesus and Bigfoot.
Well, you should
but
have. Ashley Wright's not
it had-
fucking around.
I
it
didn't
had
even.
me agape.
Yeah, I wasn't even clear. The movie is so poorly put together that I wasn't even clear that it was supposed to be a twist ending. I was like, I guess they got married and had kids of their own.
No, so the way that I know
That's a much better twist.
the way that I know it was a twist ending is because he wakes up.
It's because
and
you were
he
actually
says he
shocked by it, right?
you know. Yeah, and he says that it was a nightmare, and then they do this whole thing, and then they show of it essentially like home movies, and like the 3 children in the movie who were not connected to them at all are their children. So that's how I knew everything that happened in the movie. Spoiler alert, it was all a dream.
Yeah, that's the conclusion I came to as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say this movie is an hour and 6 minutes, and an hour of it is just like shots of the woods and Trey's music.
Oh, so Shayne, you had asked in like our group DM, why did they not show the fucking grandpa or whatever?
The sheriff, yeah,
Yes.
that was my favorite character.
Someone pointed out on Instagram that they're pretty sure that's just the main dude wearing that stuff, and then they just do
Oh
that
yeah,
voice.
100%.
No, there's a credit. There's a
He's got
credit.
a
I did
credit.
too, but then I was like, well, it would make sense why they never fucking show him. Like, I'm wondering
Yeah.
if the credit is his voice, but they just shot like the dude, and then the credit's just him doing the voiceover.
That's what I was thinking.
So my theory is that they recorded him surreptitiously. Like they're just like, hey, they caught him walking around in the woods in his backyard, and they recorded him, and then they just like made the voice up or something, because his voice is insane. It's like, I don't believe in Bigfoot. Like, he just screams every line in that. I don't know, but there's another
So
scene in the movie.
disorienting.
Yeah, it's horrible. But there's like another scene in the movie where they're in the restaurant at the beginning that's like pretty clearly like, oh, we're just recording this because they won't let us shoot in the
Right.
Yeah, it's just a picture, a shot of somebody's hand lifting a coffee cup, and I'm pretty sure it's just like the town they live in probably hates them, and because I think it seems like they live in Oregon or something.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Portland, I believe.
I think it's Portland,
fuck?
Maine.
No, everything I saw said Oregon.
But probably everybody in the town is like, oh, god damn it, here come these fucking assholes again. And they couldn't get permission to have people in the background of the shot, because who wants to be in that movie? I mean, not that I think they're like handing out NDAs and stuff, but I don't know. It's just like, why would you have that shot unless they were just secretly recording the scene?
Look, I'm just going to say, pretty good and prescient move to make this movie in 2019 and have it be based on the fact that the police department is completely disbanded and defunded and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just to give more money to the fire department.
That's like
a much more helpful.
That's a Chad
force.
move too, to like defund the only cop in the town and give it to the fire department who actually does something.
Yeah.
So fucking funny.
I'm confused about the police situation, because it's like the guy we're talking about who has no face is the sheriff, and then the main character is just like the chief of police. So they defunded the police, only the chief, and the sheriff is now like the only cop.
Well,
and I was like, what?
To be fair, they like disband the police and he turns his badge in immediately, so like
Here's my badge and my gun.
he's also a quitter.
Yeah, well, here's the actual.
I did all I could do.
Here's the actual answer for that. Sheriffs are elected officials that serve an entire county, and like a cop works for the city. So like, yeah, the sheriff is just like, I'll just take over.
It's fucking. I'm starting to think Shayne might have
That's
been
like
in
an
this movie.
accurate. I think it was Shayne. Okay, and so I was like really concerned about how they were going to do this, because when I looked it up, first of all, the entire cast is just the family that made this movie. Also, the guy who plays the chief, who is like the main character, also plays Bigfoot, and he fights himself. So I was like, how the fuck is that going to work? And it's as confusing as it sounds. I did actually take real notes, and it's not long, so we can just go through it.
I will say, I think we talked about it in our group text. This is everybody's least favorite movie we've done, right? This is definitely the worst.
As I said, if you could even call this a movie, it's not. I don't know.
I was so impressed. We're a united front on Letterboxd, all half stars.
I'm going to watch one more of their movies. Only
You
to
son of a bitch.
No, I want
How dare you.
to. I want to see if they got better or worse in the 3 years since this came out. So I'm gonna watch whatever one of the newer ones. It's also the Exorcism movie we were gonna do is apparently a documentary. So
wait, they made a documentary
I wanna
about exorcism.
apparently Ashley Hayes Wright has said she has had to have an exorcism
watch it.
against her, and they made a documentary about it.
Girl, let me
What?
know.
my God.
I want to know it. I need to see it.
I was thinking that might be the one I watch, but I don't know.
I mean, that's not technically.
I do kind of want to watch their
I don't
TV
know.
series Deranged Dad, though.
Jesus.
I hope it's like the episode of The Simpsons where Homer's making like the cartoons about his dad called Angry Dad, but it's just like the Christian version of it.
Probably.
I'm gonna pick the
Angry Father in Christ.
At least this movie had some pretty fucking banger quotes. Like, you don't have to be tough, it's my job to be tough.
Oh my god.
I can't. I don't know. I wanna watch the Exorcism one. I cannot watch another movie where these two people talk to each other for an hour. Like, I absolutely cannot.
Katie and I'll do the Exorcism movie as a bonus episode at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing that I kept thinking about was the couple was exactly like everybody I went to high school with who got married right out of high school.
Oh, 100%.
And they just like 10 years later, they just fucking hate each other and are in just like a completely loveless marriage.
This movie had real big, like, middle of Ohio couple vibes to it.
Yeah, the guy even has the non-regional redneck voice. Like hey man, I'm gonna throw steak on the grill, have some beers.
Oh boy,
I feel like this man embodies every version of like Southern accent that I ever do. This is it. He embodies it.
This film was made for you, Katie. This is your time to shine.
I know. I wish I took more. I did take some quotes, but obviously, as most of you know, I've been on my deathbed for a whole week, and
This is what finally kills you. This film.
I know. So I took notes, obviously, but surprisingly, my heart wasn't in it. So we'll see if I can even do an accent without literally my throat ripping out. I have a soda talk before we start, and it's not new, but the winter spiced cranberry Sprite is out, and it's one of my favorite things. So
you're making
be on
stuff
the lookout.
Up
now. No,
that's not real.
It is real. It's been real.
Didn't Sierra Mist do that first?
I don't know.
I remember
Sierra Mist is also not real.
Sierra Mist is the best. How dare you?
I'm a Sprite. I'm not really a Sierra Mist person, but
for that, I'm only picking Ashley Hayes Wright's movies for all of my next 10 picks.
It's grievous injustice against Sierra Mist.
Enjoy talking to yourself on a podcast for the next 10 episodes.
I can do it.
Katie's going to be sick for the next 6 months.
Okay. So, this movie starts in the woods, if you could believe it.
At least the woods is like at least there's some like decent footage of woods in this movie. It looks like a place I would like to go walk.
Yeah, it's like legit, like somebody said, probably someone's backyard, and the town is like a cute little like colonial, like it's the setting at least is cute, but that's like about all. So
yeah, like Skull Forest was just like this is legitimately like Pacific Northwest, like gorgeous kind of area, as opposed to Skull Forest, which was literally probably somebody just had like an acre of like trees in their backyard and just shot the entire thing in it.
Whatever, that was a full forest. There's a skull.
It wasn't a forest made of skulls, so no.
I don't even remember what that movie was about, actually. I've like blocked it out of my memory.
Game.
That's right. Boo.
With the fake Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. Oh my god, the Australian guy. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this movie starts with woods. We immediately get the cast, which is just like the entire family. I also thought people. There was a lot of like, I assume that they did the camera people also, because somebody's name was Scout, and I apparently thought that was funny because I wrote LOL next to it.
Let's see. Yeah, Ashley and David are credited as she's credited as cinematographer. He is the composer of all of the songs and music that weren't like over the top Christian songs. Yeah,
I was really hoping he wrote the big Christian opening song.
So because when you look at like the end during the credits, it lists like 9 or 10 people. And it's the 4 family members, and then they list the 5 people that wrote the songs, but their credit is the song title. And then after that, they also do this song by this. So they do them twice, but just makes the cast look even bigger. Scout is one of the daughters, I believe.
Cute. All right. I like it. Cute. All right, Scout. You got to really pull this family through. So then we get like a shot of the town. Again, like I said, very cute. Literal Christian music is playing in the background. And I wrote that because sometimes when you're listening to the radio, like I don't listen to like the radio very often, but sometimes you do, and you play this game where you listen and you're like, wait, is this like a praise band song, or is it just like a normal song? This is like a literal actual. They're singing about and to Jesus in the song. So then they show
tooth
us
and nail band on this entire soundtrack.
I want this movie to have the soundtrack made by POD, and then I would have been happy.
I've been sick if there was just like Christian rap rock the entire time.
Like that's where they went wrong, to be honest. Then they show what I thought was a statue of Bigfoot as a fisherman, but in hindsight, it might have just been a fisherman, which is why I thought it was Maine. But regardless, it doesn't matter. So now we're introduced to pretty much the only two characters, which is the chief of police, I don't know what his real name was, and Claire, who is the mayor. And they
I believe so, even though she doesn't seem to be doing any sort of mayoral work in this movie.
No, she's not. She's just walking around pensively. Maybe that's what the mayor actually does. Looks at the town.
It is the mayor's job, per every state's and city's constitution, to go hunt Bigfoot if there's a sighting.
There's a Bigfoot outbreak. They're everywhere. Track them down.
So they meet up, and basically she's like, "Hey, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but they're talking budget cuts." And then he's like, "Okay, let's get some coffee." So they go get some coffee. Then this is where I wrote Claire might be the mayor. It was confusing in the beginning. And basically the chief is worried about the fact that he might get fired. Then they show us a dead, mangled deer for some reason. Thanks for that. I don't know. Cut with like the ocean.
If
like,
there's one
not
thing
the real ocean.
Christian hunters love, it's mangled deer.
Yeah, honestly.
First hand parental experience.
And not using the bathroom.
I thought they were trying to like rip off David Lynch or something.
I think they were.
Could you imagine these two people watching Eraserhead?
Oh yeah. No, there's no way.
That's the movie that finally made them be like, Hollywood's evil. I can't do this.
She's like, David,
no more.
I wish there was like I would interview these two just to ask what monster movies they're referencing that turned this guy into a violent maniac, apparently.
But into
Space Amoeba.
But my overall question is I don't understand the problem. Okay, we'll get to it. Okay, dead deer. I assume that they were just like walking and they were just like, "Oh, honey, get a shot of that dead deer," and then that's what happened. Claire walks on the beach to pensive guitar strumming, and then the chief also walks on the beach to the same music, but they are doing it separately. Like, very obviously the same beach, but like they're not shown together. And they do this a lot, and now it makes sense because I think that they are holding the camera for themselves, maybe.
Yeah.
Because like in the scenes that they're together, rarely are they in the same frame.
Well,
it's so
at
strange.
first I just assumed, because I think the first thing I saw, I think Shayne maybe was the first one to watch this out of the four of us, and like messaged and was just like literally no one is ever in frame in this movie. And so, I just assumed it was like for like a minute out, or like I just assumed it was just going to be like incompetent filmmaking, which it is. But then I was like, oh, it's because that like literally they have to like their idea is that, well, we have to make it look like we're standing next to each other, but we can't also both be in frame at the same time, because God forbid we have anyone else film this for us.
Have Scout hold it.
Yes.
I'm pulling for Scout. I think Scout will make it out all right.
I doubt it. I think this family's going to turn into the next Phelps.
Well, okay, what happened? So then there's like voiceover of a person calling the police to report that something has been eating their cattle. Then there's like a really, really hard cut to Chief telling someone who's who is the sheriff. And so like we were saying, the sheriff, they only show him from like
it's
like an
either
overhead
his
shot.
belly or
From,
an
like-
overhead shot where he's wearing a huge cowboy hat, so you never see his
but
face.
it's like you see his torso, like shoulder down, and he is screaming every time he talks.
That's good acting.
Incredible work all around.
It's
Cameras,
like the
acting.
opposite of the dad. The dad is just like completely
Monotone.
emotionless,
Yeah.
and the sheriff is just like shouting. He's like Grandpa Simpson.
Like literally, yeah.
Perfect. He's the best person in this movie. Great,
Yeah, I want a whole movie with that guy.
just great voiceover work.
Oh, so then he's like talking to the sheriff, and he's talking about how there might be budget cuts, and the sheriff is just like, you know, do whatever, and then he goes, maybe you should swallow humble pie. And he's like,
It's like, I would never.
I would never swallow humble pie. And then the sheriff was
Swallowing
like,
is a
well,
sin.
my tastes good to you, or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? I don't understand.
Incredible work. This is fucking. I take it back. I'm changing my rating to 5 stars.
Yeah, in the beginning of the movie, I was like, oh, maybe this will be funny in like a morbid way, but basically after the first 10 minutes, it's horrible.
Yeah. So now the chief goes to the town hall meeting. Again, there's no people at this town hall meeting. It's just like him standing in front of a sign that says like town hall meeting or whatever. And the town votes to disband the police department in order to put more funds into the fire department because there's more fires and they need the money to fight all these fires.
I love the trick of them being in a quote-unquote town hall meeting that you never see anyone but the dude's face from close up, so you can't tell there's not people there. And you also don't hear any real like rumblings from other people. It's just
No,
Just
and
this
then
one man.
it's literally just
And then-
a long shot on the dude's face as she walks away to start the meeting, and then they pretend to walk out of the room to discuss for like 8 seconds and come back, and they're just like, yeah, fuck the cops.
They like never cut to her. It's always on his face, even when she's speaking, and he's just sitting there stone faced. Like, all right,
For
well,
some
honestly.
reason, she's-
fires are good actually, so don't give the firefighters money, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. So then, like, and also, this is like nobody in this movie is good at acting, but this is like the
Bust
worst
out.
acting from her because, like, I don't really understand why she's talking the way that she is in this instance. It's like she was trying to, like, not be. It's almost as if she was trying to play, like, a different character or something. It was very strange. But anyways, she's like, there's all these fires. More fires every year. And he basically is just like, well, I care about the town, so I'll take a pay cut if you can keep me on. And she's like, no, we need the money for fires. And he's like, but you just gave the fire department a new fire engine. Who's going to answer the call? And she's like, the sheriff. And he's like,
The firefighters.
like, I mean, yeah.
We just gave them all the money.
And he's like, he says something about, I don't know, he says something stupid or whatever, and then he's just like, fine, you can have my badge and my gun now, and so he takes it off and leaves. And then Claire runs up and is like, sorry, I didn't want to fire you. And then he was like, I gave it all I had. And I was like, you didn't really say anything. You just said who's going to answer the calls.
That's all he had. He had that one line.
But who is going to answer
He's ready
the
with
calls?
that. And when they were like, who gives a shit? He was like, oh, fuck, I didn't expect that.
Sheriff.
Like, we're getting rid of the phone line, so nobody. He's like, oh, well.
Yeah, right.
We're giving your phone to the firefighters, too.
Give
This
me
is-
your cell phone.
This is my personal phone, not anymore.
Yeah.
Keep paying that plan,
Firefighters
please.
need it. We're giving the firefighters all your minutes too.
Yeah.
So then he's like, I know it wasn't your fault, and she's like, we just don't have the budget. Then she's like, please return the car now. And so he does that, and it's like in slow-mo. Then there's more Jesus music. Then Claire and the chief separately look at the beach again. They show them doing the same thing at the same time, but like not together a lot. It's really weird. Those first like 25 minutes of the movie is just like pensive landscape. And I'm like, it's really not that serious, guy. Like, I don't know.
You don't understand, Katie. They don't have cops anymore.
Cop is
What is this town to do?
Yeah, they just have these satanic fucking fire department.
The cop was the thin blue line protecting the town from the murderous Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the fire department is red, which is obviously the color of Satan, so...
Are you guys ready for our new t-shirt about the satanic
Please,
fire
I will wear a satanic fire department t-shirt every day.
All right.
Absolutely. I'll sell them to my fire department.
All right, you got it. The boys in red. What's going on? Okay. Because my other thing is, like, we hear all of these calls coming in throughout the whole movie, and, like, no one ever does anything about it. Someone's like, my cow's being eaten, my dad's missing, and, like, nobody ever is investigating it anyway, so I don't really see how the town is any worse off without.
Well, this is why they got rid of the cops, okay? No one can figure out where all the cows are.
So, okay, so now there is a radio interview with somebody who was saying that they saw Bigfoot. And then there's a shot of some guy going into the woods to hunt who gets scared. So Claire goes to the sheriff to try and talk about the reports of Bigfoot, but the sheriff is busy. He's got too much shit going on, apparently.
Yeah, everyone's cows are disappearing.
I got a lot of shit to do in this county. Chief is eating at a diner, and he's at the Rib Shack, he says. And he's doing something
This dude looks like the only place he would eat is the Rib Shack.
Yeah, I would go there, to be honest.
I wish my city had a Rib Shack.
Which
sounds
infuriates
delightful.
me, which is that he's watching a video on his phone, like on speakerphone. So he's like watching an interview, somebody talking about Bigfoot. And I'm like, also, for someone who doesn't believe that Bigfoot could possibly be real, he like listens to a lot of reports about people who say they've seen Bigfoot. So I'm just like really confused. Is this movie because his wife caught him watching like furry porn or something, and she's like, Bigfoot's evil, and then this is what happened?
He's jacking off to a Godzilla movie.
I am under the suspicion that they accidentally rented Suburban Sasquatch and saw someone get their dick ripped off and were like, Hollywood's evil, we could make our own Bigfoot movie.
Because, like, my thought is if you are trying to say that, like, horror or monster movies are, like, bad and evil, why do you pick Bigfoot? Bigfoot is kind of like such a lukewarm creature to pick. Like, he doesn't really do anything.
It's because you could do like I can't remember if they say it in the movie or not, or if I read it in a review, because I fell down like a rabbit hole of reading the Letterboxd reviews to this movie, where like the whole like you're above, like, you know, man above creatures thing, and I really think that's what like the big fucking
dominion
behind
over the beasts of the land.
I think that's pretty much what this whole fucking movie's about, and how the fire department is satanic.
I wish it had been about jacking off to Bigfoot.
I agree.
I don't know. I'm really into the idea of like a satanic fire department now. I don't know why. I'm kind of into it. Okay, so Yeah, he's at the rib shack listening to reports on a speakerphone about Bigfoot, and Claire calls to tell him about Bigfoot. And well, she calls and is basically like, "Can we meet?" or whatever. And so they go and meet, and she tells him about how Bigfoot is, doing stuff. And then he says, "I don't have time to play around." And I'm like, "Aren't you unemployed? Like, what else are you doing?"
That was such a great response. Oh yeah, what are you doing?
He's splitting wood, and casually, and then she's just like, "We really need you. You're the only one here now," or whatever. And she like splits a piece of wood and then walks away or something. And I was like, "What?" Now the mayor is at Rib Shack, listening to reports of Bigfoot. So they should have got together sooner, because they literally just do the same thing.
Look, everyone
separately.
knows there's only one restaurant in all of Portland.
It is Rib Shack.
Yeah, it's just the Rib Shack.
Okay, so now there's a scene of these three girls who are talking about how they want to go to the park after cheer practice or something. And then they do it, but it's like the woods. And they're just like talking, they're just like having girl talk. And they hear a noise that scares them, and so they run away. This happens a few times, to the point where I'm like, just leave the forest? Like, I don't understand. Because then it hard cuts to them saying that they're going to play hide and seek. Like, as if they didn't just run from something that scared them a bunch. And I was like, what is happening here? I don't know. It was very strange to me.
Look, I know the best way to practice cheerleading is in the woods, so it makes sense to me.
I mean, that's fair. So, the one girl, Cindy, is going to count while the other two girls go hide. And she immediately gets snatched by Bigfoot. And then one of the other girls gets kidnapped too, but it was like a little confusing because she just like falls on the ground and screams.
Yeah.
But she's stolen. So, excuse me. Chief and Claire are pensive some more. Meanwhile, the sheriff is looking around the woods for the missing children, wherein he says that he is wasting his time walking around the woods looking for the missing children.
I agree.
Well,
there's enough kids. They could find new ones.
Fuck them kids.
You know what we don't have enough of? Goats and cows. Whatever the fuck Bigfoot was stealing.
That's true.
They only care about it if Bigfoot is stealing it. If Bigfoot had been stealing the kids. If the kids were cows.
Oh, yeah, fair. Yeah, fair. But Bigfoot gets him. I love how Bigfoot kidnaps children and like keeps them alive, but like just straight up murders an adult.
I mean,
like they never find him.
Bigfoot has morals too.
I think he was dry aging them like a steak.
Yeah, he's trying to make human beef jerky.
I'd try it.
I love that. All right. I had to drink some winter spice cranberry Sprite. Refreshing. So
it's the only thing keeping Katie going.
I'm not kidding you, pretty much. And Halloween candy that I did not have to procure myself because I was, as I said, on my deathbed.
You sent someone else out trick-or-treating for you?
Yeah, I sent Merlin. He delivered. Excuse me. Yes, so Bigfoot is dry aging the sheriff. He's dead. Claire, this is when Claire tells the chief that the sheriff is missing. And he's like, "You're the only one here to help. The sheriff's missing. The girls are missing. Like, everyone's missing. We need your help." He said, "I might check it out." Like, excuse me, sir.
Depends on what I got going on later. Maybe I'll scope it out. I don't know.
Like, she basically, this dude makes no sense because before he was willing to take a pay cut to continue to be the sheriff or the chief of this town because he cared about the town. But then he got fired because of budget cuts. And then he's just like, fuck this town. I don't give a shit. When she's like, there's children missing, and he's just like, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out. I'm not sure. I gotta play COD with the boys later.
Yeah. Priorities.
So she's like, whatever. So she is basically Claire goes out to the woods and like stands in one place and yells for the girls for a really long time. They show like weird cuts between like her doing that. She goes to the gun store, you know, as you do.
So,
and
I have a question based on what I assume this family believes. Wouldn't a woman mayor be like against their beliefs?
I don't know if
I feel
that's
like they feel like the people that like would not believe that a woman should be doing anything besides serving her husband.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even gonna pretend to know anything about that.
I gotta interview this lady. Come on the podcast.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, please don't.
Well, she couldn't be the cop, so they had to concede somewhere. She had to either be the mayor or the cop. Those were the only two options. So, you don't have to be tough if you're a mayor, apparently. So they just picked that one for her. So then she's like, if he won't help me, I'll do it myself. And then puts her coat on and goes back into the woods again, as if we haven't just watched her walk around the woods for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, the chief sits outside of a church and prays and asks God to forgive him for killing Bigfoot. And then he runs around in the woods for 10 minutes.
That was one of my favorite parts. Like, God, forgive me because I'm about to murder Sasquatch.
I mean, I guess. So then eventually he runs into Claire, who says she can fight. You know, she can fight Bigfoot. And then they argue about it for a little bit. Then we see Bigfoot. And one of the girls, for just like a split second, just in case we forgot why we were here. And then there's like this bizarre scene where they show like a Bigfoot. Also, every time they show Bigfoot, he goes like, he like makes this crazy noise. And so they show the Bigfoot and the girl like just a split second, and then they show this like shot of a trail, and then it's almost as if Bigfoot picks up the camera and it's like and like shakes the camera. It's so strange.
Who do you think's filming everything whenever the other two were on camera? It's Bigfoot.
I mean, must be.
Makes sense.
So, the chief gives Claire his gun because he don't need it, he said. And then she's like, I have to go to the bathroom. And he's like, what, really? Hunters don't use the bathroom, they hold it.
And she's like, well, mayors do.
So then she puts the gun down and then walks like 10 yards away from it for some reason. Goes to the bathroom, comes back, completely forgets the gun. Then they're walking around a little bit, and he's like, let me see that gun. And she's like, oh, man, I forgot it. And then he gets mad at her. I'm like, how did you not notice that she came back without the gun?
Real cop move to just hand somebody a gun and let them lose it and not just try to go back to find it. Just leave it out in the fucking woods, a loaded shotgun.
It's figured out.
Literally.
Whatever.
Someone will find it. It'll be fine.
He literally is like, oh, it's fine. We don't need it.
Bigfoot with a shotgun.
That's how they should have
at the
ended.
end.
Yeah.
This must be the part where I fell asleep because I don't remember any of this.
All right. Good.
The whole back and forth of like hunters don't use the bathroom, they hold it, is so funny to me.
The fuck?
As if hunters aren't just pissing all over the woods.
Yeah,
shitting themselves.
They got diceys on, right? They're in for the long hunt.
Also, the fact that they even acknowledge that they go to the bathroom for whatever reason is very funny to me, because I feel like that's, especially like with it being her, it seems like one of those things that they would just they would not have done. It's just a very baffling line.
It's smut, honestly, if you ask me.
Yeah. You know who's not talking about pissing? The Avengers.
They probably the guy just actually had to pee in real life, and they didn't edit that part out because they're lazy.
Oh no, that happens later. So this time,
this
time
This
she's
joke
like,
happens twice.
yeah,
Yeah.
it comes back.
All right, that's why I was okay.
It was so good they had to call back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all remember Piss? Huh?
It's really
Check this
good.
out.
It's really
Piss
good.
2.
I can't wait till we get there because he turns it into like a pickup line, and it is the funniest thing ever. So, okay, she lost the gun. He's mad about it for a minute, and then he's just like, "It's fine, we don't need it." Now they're just like sitting on the ground talking, and Claire says that essentially Claire says the movie gets like extremely about God after this part. There's like almost not a sentence where they're not talking about God. So basically she says that God created Bigfoot, so they shouldn't be afraid of him because of the thing Nathan said about
the dominion over the
man
beasts.
being over whatever. And then he's just like, "Oh, you're right. I didn't think of that." So now they're not scared anymore because God will...
This creature absolutely can't tear us limb from limb because God said so.
Yeah. Like literally is the conversation that they're having right now. Then they keep showing the woods and they're, walking or whatever. So now she says, "Is it true what they say about you?" And he was like, "What story are you talking about?"
This is my favorite part because it's the most insane thing I've ever heard.
The story that he proceeds to tell is that he was called into an active shooter situation at a school. And when he got there, he was supposed to wait for backup, but he just couldn't wait. So he ran in by himself, and there was 2 active shooters. And he went First of all, there's 2 active shooters. Like, what was he shooting at? Because he's like, I went room to room, and then he found one of the shooters, but he didn't have any ammo. Like, what happened to your ammo? And then he was able to trick the guy into thinking that he still had ammo, and so he got the jump on him, he says. And he was able to arrest him and take his gun so that when his active shooter buddy came in the room, he could shoot him or whatever, and he saved all the children.
He could active shoot him. Sucker.
I slept through the best part of this movie.
Oh my god. It's amazing to watch unfold in a post-Uvalde world where clearly none of this would have ever happened even in 2019, obviously, but hearing it after the fact is like, what the fuck? What?
It's also like the way that he delivers the story. This is when he also starts doing like a nice guy, like a "oh shucks, ma'am," like chuckle.
Twerk nothing.
Yeah, like, "Oh gosh, ma'am, I was just doing my job," kind of thing. He's like, it's just like so ridiculous because of the way that he like told the story. Then he goes on to say that like normally he wouldn't have worn a bulletproof vest because it made him look fat, but that day God told him to wear the vest and he did. So that's why he survived.
Just incredible.
Excuse me, sir?
That's more bullshit because if you've ever seen a small town cop, they are never not unnecessarily wearing body armor.
Right.
Like they'll be decked out in SWAT gear to give out like traffic tickets.
Just out like guiding traffic at a fucking construction site wearing like gas masks and shit and
like the plate carriers.
So then she says that she thinks he's a hero and they kiss. Then he says thank you after they kiss, which I thought was very polite. Okay, so I think I don't know if I left it out or if it's later. There's like a long period where they're talking. No, I think it's later, maybe, because I think this is when they immediately find Bigfoot tracks. She's like, I found his feet.
It's such a weird way to put it. I found his feet. Like, what? No, like, you didn't.
I wish,
a whole foot left behind.
Wish that there was just a fucking foot there.
They finally find him, and the two little girls like murdered and dismembered Bigfoot.
I would have loved that.
We watched monster movies too.
Don't let your kids watch Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah.
So, they see Bigfoot tracks, and then the chief is like, "See, I told you he'd find us. We don't have to find him." I'm like, "What?" The two girls that were kidnapped by Bigfoot wake up and are like, "Oh no, we're in a nest." Hold up. Talk amongst yourselves because I have to cough.
To coffee. What about coffee?
I'm more interested in a nest of big feet.
Very good. Very good. Good topic. So now he's like, okay, I have a plan. And the plan is that Claire is going to be the bait. And then he goes, and one more thing, and then he leans over and kisses her again. And I was like, you guys just kissed. Like, it's not magical anymore. That's enough.
They've never been kissed before, okay?
I don't think they have.
First time.
Actually.
First time at 45 years old.
Yep. Great movie. Never been kissed. Okay. Bigfoot.
Would have been better with a Bigfoot.
Yeah, the Bigfoot and the cop. They're the ones that kissed.
Bigfoot sees Claire and chases her. Then the chief jumps out behind the Bigfoot and hits it in the back of the head, or in the back with a log or something. And then Claire spins around a tree and kicks him. And then I just wrote, I don't know what's happening here. There's just like a lot of commotion and like running around and punching trees and stuff. Like, I'm not really sure what's going on. It's like chopped and edited very strangely to the point where I don't know. Then they run. Bigfoot stops chasing them. And then she's like, what are we going to do? And the chief is like, we got to come up with a plan. And then suddenly he's got a fucking handgun that he pulls out of his belt. And he's just like, always come prepared. And I was like, where was your fucking handgun a minute ago when you were fighting Bigfoot?
Can't reveal all the secrets.
And you pretended like you didn't have or need a gun. I was very baffled by this situation.
He's very crafty.
So now he's going to look around the woods for Bigfoot, and he leaves Claire by herself, and she falls and hurts her hand, and it's like really fucking dramatic for no reason.
Oh yeah, she's like, I stabbed my hand, and she shows her hand to the dude, and it's just like totally fine.
Yeah,
she couldn't even spring for like
afar.
Couldn't even spring for like the smallest, but even like ketchup, squeeze a ketchup packet on your hand or something.
I was gonna say ketchup because they can't enter Spirit Halloween to buy fake blood, so no, couldn't even use ketchup. Yeah. So this is when they talk about him being in the army, and he says, I did go to a war a few times. No, you didn't. Go to war a few times. Who says that?
Yeah, it's very weird phrasing.
So then they're just talking about how he was in the army or something. I don't know. And now here it's come back, and he's like, all right, I gotta use the bathroom. And she's like, I thought hunters didn't use the bathroom. And he goes, I'm not a hunter. I'm a cop. And then she goes, don't forget your gun. And he goes, I won't. Only beautiful women forget their guns. And then they smile at each other. And I was like, what?
I wondered what that was. I guess without any context, I was like, what the fuck? What is happening right now?
It's still very baffling. You can tell from the scene that she really thought that was a charming line, though. She liked it.
You know,
she was
that's how they started dating.
She was ready to make a child right there on the spot.
Yeah. Pop out number 4. So, you have to cough with him.
I mean, you know, the more kids they have, the more people they would have in their movies. So, you're just procreating the whole cast to your future movies.
Built-in movie crew.
It's like that weird Quiverfall evangelical movement, except for like making YouTube content. Like Jesus wants our quiver full of children so we can like add to our bounty of YouTube videos.
I hate that.
Eventually, they'd be able to they could remake this movie and have an entire town for that town hall meeting.
That's true. Yeah, meet us again in 10 years. Some of the kids would be really young.
We should just set up a Kickstarter to remake this movie.
Okay. Nathan gets to be Claire. Kit will be the chief.
I have to be Bigfoot.
I think
the
you
tallest
need to
and
be Claire.
hairiest. I'll be one of the kidnapped girls.
Claire.
I'm fine with it.
I want to be the sheriff, and we could all be Bigfoot. Just inexplicably different sizes of Bigfoot. But it's one Bigfoot.
Keep them guessing.
I'm in.
Okay. Shayne, you're invited too.
Shayne has to do
not unless I can be the I gotta be the sheriff.
I was like, Shayne could do the voiceover sheriff voice.
Yeah. Katie can be the actual.
I'll be the body.
You can. Yeah,
Perfect.
I'll do the voiceovers.
That honestly, if I watched a movie and I saw that happen, I would probably. It would be very funny, I think.
I'm in.
All right. I think we'll get in contact with the death toilet people because I feel like they could help us with some background stuff.
Now we're talking.
Explosions and whatnot. Okay. Shit. Okay. Then, so they're like having like that conversation about how he went to war a few times or whatever. Then it cuts to them finding Bigfoot again. I just wrote, your guess is as good as mine as to what's going on in the scene. I have no idea. It's literally just like the chief fist fighting Bigfoot, but like punching tree branches and logs a bunch. And I'm not really sure why that's happening. Eventually...
I have a feeling this entire movie was made solely because she's so horny for her husband and has no outlet for it that she had to write and direct a movie about her husband fist fighting Bigfoot and being able to punch through a tree.
I mean, that checks out. She seems like a big, I don't like the opposite term is a wife guy. She's like a husband wife, which just like doesn't sound as good. But you know, she's
a wife guy. We can just say she's a wife guy.
She is a wife guy for her husband. Yeah.
It was impossible to keep track of what was happening in this scene. I think because the husband was the cop and Bigfoot. Was he just? Were they just like putting the fur suit on a tree? And he was like punching the tree.
I just think it's.
I couldn't tell.
I just think it's edited terribly. Where I think it's supposed to be that they're fighting, but I think it's supposed to be that like he'll miss with a punch and hit the tree or something. But then I also
the kung fu stuff.
Yeah, but it also looks like Bigfoot's made out of a tree the way it's edited together.
Yeah, it's impossible.
No idea.
You can't tell what's happening.
I'm telling you, I think this is just more David Lynch inspiration.
Yeah.
Definitely. What if it actually was? What if they're actually big fans of David Lynch?
David Lynch and Crispin Glover are our two fucking biggest role models in film. I'm gonna watch one of these like current movies, and it's just gonna be a bunch of fucking weird non sequiturs edited together that make no sense, and just like footage of bugs for no reason edited in, be all fucked up.
It might be.
I hope so.
So there's a fight scene, needless to say, of some sort.
Pretty good. Pretty on par with like a Shaw Brothers fight scene.
Yeah.
Then what ends up happening is that Bigfoot like knocks the chief out, and then it cuts away, but like supposedly he like smashes his head in with a rock. Claire then is like, "Oh, you did it now," and like jumps on the Bigfoot and is like wrestling him. Again, you can just do that at home. You don't have to make a movie, girl.
Yeah.
If you want your husband to be the Bigfoot, just tell him.
Just tell him to wear a Bigfoot costume.
She literally like jumps on his back and is like
This whole movie is just literally
riding him like a pony.
Literally a secret wish that she wished her husband still had hair.
Oh.
It's like a product of the kind of like fucked up Christian sexuality.
Yeah. It's all coming together now. And in their minds, they're just like, movies are bad. And we're like, no, I think there's a different issue here. Ashley, you just got to tell him, girl. Okay, so she is like wrestling with Bigfoot. And then he chokes her out against a tree.
I don't remember that.
This is literally her fantasy.
Yeah.
Girl, it's okay. It is okay to be a little freaky, okay? Just, it'll be fine. So she's basically just like, getting choked out, and she's like, help, or whatever. And even though we thought that the chief got his head smashed in by a rock, he's completely fine, of course, because he's tough. He's a tough man.
That's his last name,
Up,
Tuffman.
Owen Tuffman.
Chief Tuffman. Oh, wait, I forgot Chief wasn't his name. I don't know what his name was.
Owen.
Chief is his name. Owen's his nickname.
Yeah. Owen's his job title.
Yeah.
Okay. So he
Police
gets up
Owen,
and... Wow. He gets up and fights Bigfoot again. He keeps punching trees and stuff. There's like this scene where he literally walks by a tree and like punches the branches of it off with his arm. And I was like, why? But why?
That was so funny. Because it was just like the tiniest branch on a dead tree.
The saddest branches you'll ever see. Fucking Madison Cawthorn punching that dead tree was more impressive than this.
He's just like, yeah, baby, you like that? He's like making eye contact with his wife. I'm telling you, this is porn. It's just like so random too. So I guess maybe he thought he was intimidating Bigfoot that way. So then, like, essentially, he's just like, again, doing fisticuffs with Bigfoot, and he eventually punches Bigfoot out. The two missing girls run up, and they all hug, which I thought was weird. Then I was like, why are they just leaving Bigfoot in the woods? Because they start to walk away. This is when Bigfoot sits up and is like, blah, blah, blah. And then the chief wakes up on the couch. The pillows, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but the pillows are so randomly placed. He's got like, I was like, what is going on with the pillows here? Wakes up and he's just like,
he was blatantly hiding an erection under one of them.
You know what? I knew someone was going to be picking up what I was putting down. That's what I was like getting.
It was placed so that his crotch was covered the entire time, and it was very strange.
Right? Okay, good. I'm glad I wasn't the only one that noticed that.
Look, I was
trying to keep your lustful eyes off of his junk.
I was trying to see that dick, and I couldn't. So.
The wife was like, "You have to cover up your luscious hog, honey."
Sheriff Johnson.
I'm not gonna. Nope, we're good. We're good. We'll just keep it where it is. So basically, he was just like, yeah, I had really bad dreams. So this is where I literally gasped when he woke up, because I was like, they are not fucking hitting me with everything was a dream. And because it's like, not only was everything a dream,
it was a boring dream,
but it was also a very erotic dream, which he refuses to acknowledge. But he's basically just like, I just had the strangest dream. And then he says, you're right. You were right, honey. I shouldn't be watching monster movies anymore. I'm sure there's some good, clean action movies I could be watching. And I was like, not only
First
was
Blood
the whole
Part
movie
2
a dream, but he's trying to say that, like, horror movies are bad. That's the takeaway. I was like,
it's gonna rot your
no
brain.
Way.
Not those 2 wars he was in.
He's not wrong. Look what this podcast has done to us.
Okay, well,
I've never jacked off to Bigfoot. I'll have you know.
I don't believe that.
I think that's a lie.
I honestly,
Heidi Klum as a worm, though.
after
Oh my god.
that thing's fucking so weird. It's just like freaked come to life.
I'm obsessed with that costume.
It's incredible.
So good.
Disgusting. And then I saw a video of her at her after party where she put on, you know, like a cute, like skimpy little like dress or whatever, but she kept like the face part of it, and it is just so disturbing.
The picture of her being interviewed where she's like laying down is my favorite.
So good. It's the most relatable a celebrity has ever been.
I would like to ask these two filmmakers what their 5 favorite clean action movies are. Because
there's no way they've seen 5 movies.
I guarantee you, all 5 of them star Steven Seagal.
Because I was in my mind, I'm thinking like, if I was going to say there was a nice genre of movie that I was going to watch, like action movie is not what I would have gone with. So I don't know. But anyways, so then he starts talking about how in the Bible, they talk about how your eyes are the lamp of the body, which is interesting because I thought...
We know what lamps do is let in light or dark, so...
Yeah, so if you're filling your body with darkness and evil, a.k.a. movies, then that's what you will be like, or something. And I was like, interesting. I've never heard the eyes are the lamp of the body. So then she basically she's like sitting there, by the way, while he's having his erotic Bigfoot dream and just like reading the Bible. And she says that,
erotic Bigfoot
she
dream
thinks
is still the best.
She says that basically the fact that he was in the military and he was a cop in this real situation still also. And so she thinks that he was watching horror movies or whatever to cope with the stress of like his real life. And then he literally reiterates the same thing that she just said, but like in a different way. And I was like, okay, you're just saying the same thing that she said. So then he just basically, there's like another 5 minutes where they basically both are saying over and over again that he's going to become a better man, a better husband, and a better Christian because he's gonna stop watching those movies. He's gonna do it for the family. He's gonna do it to be a better head of the family or something. And she's just like, I'm so proud of you. God showed you the way, or something like that. And then they just show what I thought were bloopers, but there's only one. And then the rest are like home movies of like the 2 of them with the 3 kids.
I think it's literally just like weird home movie shit to be like, look, we're a fun family.
Look, he stopped watching movies and now he's a fun dad. Or whatever, even though he's not like interacting with the children or whatever. But I was just like,
I have never seen a real life couple with least chemistry than these 2.
No.
They feel in this movie like people that just met each other for the first time to make this movie.
Yeah, I think so. I I don't know what to say about it. I have no more thoughts.
Very good. Everybody should watch this. Actually, don't.
At least
We probably just gave them like 48 cents
We
in residuals.
we funded the
watching
entirety
this.
of their next film.
So,
yeah, literally.
Look, I tell people all the time, because there are people that watch these movies before they listen, and I'll be like, look, don't watch this one. And they do. And then they're always like, this was garbage. Why did I do this? And I'm like, I tried to warn you. So, this,
well,
it's a good pick. Good job, me.
no.
Banned.
Look, we got one of their movies out of the way. Now we know we don't have to watch Christmas Zombies.
I'm curious about Halloween Hero.
I'm at some point, if I could find them for free, I will end up watching all these movies because I'm a dick.
I'm
they're
legit
all on their
interested
YouTube
in the
channel.
Exorcism.
There's a handful of ones on their YouTube channel, but like, there's like they have the fucking one about this dude fighting the cartel and Chupacabra that's nowhere.
Oh no.
Like,
Oh no.
which I assume is literally just this movie all over again.
Yes, yeah. I can't imagine. Probably with some racism though.
Oh,
Cartel
yeah,
Pacabra.
100%. All right. Any news?
Did you say Cartel Cabra?
Yeah.
I did.
Look,
I
I mean,
love it. Amazing.
I watched that movie.
Yeah, a cartel of chupacabras? That sounds pretty sick.
Yes, I love that. I didn't look for any news.
All right, good.
I'm holding on by a thread as it is.
Kit, what'd you watch this week?
I watched a whole bunch of Cabinet of Curiosities.
I need to like
Pretty
find time to watch.
pretty
those.
good show.
I've seen like mixed reviews, but then I've seen like there's one of them has been like pretty like universally like raved about.
I think it's pretty varied. I think there's something in there for everyone. So I think you'll find something you like in there. The Panos Cosmatos one is fucking insane. I'm gonna be thinking about it forever.
Yeah, that's the one I'm most interested in seeing.
That's so goddamn good. If you like his stuff, I mean, you'll love it.
Yeah.
What else did I watch? That's the only thing that has been in my mind all day. Watched Dream Demon. Pretty decent.
Yeah, I like that one.
It opens so strong though, like the rest of the movie can't live up to it.
Right.
When it's at the wedding and she's like, I can't do this, so he slaps her and she slaps him back, but knocks his whole fucking head off and he's spraying blood all over her dress. Incredible.
You know I love a good head knockoff.
Yeah. It's just like such force, like thwap, and his head just pops right off. It's perfect. Road Games, starring Stacy Keach.
Yes, I love
Yeah,
that.
that one's
Real good. A+.
I haven't watched
More
that in a
movies should have had
long time.
Stacy Keach in a starring role.
I agree.
And watched Thirst, the Park Chan-wook movie this morning.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Pretty good. Yeah, and then just a viewing. Was after having my brain melted by that, I watched The Badge, the Bible, and Bigfoot immediately after, and it was just like the worst crash. Like, my God,
What a banger movie.
it's like Thelma and Louise. Like, you're all amped up driving your car 150 miles an hour, and then you go off the cliff, and it's like, all right, well, this is it, I guess.
I feel like
This is the end.
instead of them going off the cliff, it just explodes in mid-drive, killing you instantly.
As soon as you get off the cliff, there's an invisible wall there that you hit.
What about you, Katie?
I pretty much only watched stuff for a whole week, but it was like I watched Halloween Cookie Championship, Baking Championship, and Outrageous Pumpkins. All of those episodes. And then I watched just basically like my like Halloween movies, which is like, Casper, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, etc., etc. The only new thing that I watched was I watched The Addams Family 2 from last year, which was like the sequel to that animated movie. The first one I thought was like actually pretty cute and I liked it. The second one I did not really like at all. So don't recommend. And then I also watched The Badge, the Bible, and Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't watched anything to
counteract
cleanse
it.
my palate yet. So
Counteract its ruinous effects.
yeah, so I'll probably finish Cabinet of Curiosities because I only watched the first 2 episodes.
Might I recommend the Rapture Diaries?
No.
You may not.
Shayne, you watch anything cool lately?
I mean, I've just been rewatching a bunch of stuff that I know I'm gonna like recently. So, like, I rewatched the first 3 Halloween movies, like the Ghostbusters. I did actually dish out the money to see Terrifier 2 in the theater, even though I suspected that I would not enjoy it, and those suspicions turned out to be correct. It's like, really, I don't know. It's a 2.5 hour long slasher movie, and there's like a half an hour of gore in it. So it's basically 2 hours of just completely inane dialogue with no plot. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why this movie is making so much money, because it sucks.
Well, it's because horror movie fans don't care about plots. They just want to see people get killed, and like apparently
they love clowns.
That's all.
That's what it is.
Fucking Terrifier
But,
is, and like I don't necessarily think it's like good kills, but everybody else seems to.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can understand that argument in the context of the first movie that's like 80 minutes long, but this is 2.5 hours long. Like, I literally, the first 45 minutes, I was like, I think I'm going to fall asleep, because it's just, like, nothing happens.
Yeah, I've never watched that.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. The people who are, like, going nuts over it are dumb. I can't imagine, I don't know. Sorry to your listeners.
Yeah, right. They deserve it.
Yeah. I just decided that I'm going to try and make Lance Henriksen my most watched person for 2022. In like,
I mean, that's a good.
Yeah, so I just started. I've just been rewatching stuff. So I rewatched Pumpkinhead, Aliens, Alien 3,
Oh yeah.
Jennifer's Body, The Terminator, Near Dark. Just all bangers.
I don't think he's ever turned in a bad performance.
You should watch Derailed.
Yeah.
Oh, you did that? I think I did, actually. You did that on this podcast,
it's not
right?
like
Yeah.
he's like whatever, but you could. It's one of those things where like his role is just literally to deliver exposition, and that's all he does.
Yeah,
and
it's not much of a role.
So he just like walks around and like says some shit, but like the most bland way possible.
You gotta watch Stone Cold. It's not available for streaming anywhere, but somebody uploaded an HD version of it to YouTube. It's that Brian Bosworth action movie from like 1990 where Lance Henriksen he's like the leader of this white supremacist biker gang that like invades Washington D.C. I don't know. I feel like not enough people have seen it. It's so good. It's a completely like cocaine mania, like insane movie, but it's so good.
I'm in.
I didn't know that was on YouTube. That's my night sorted. I've been wanting to watch that forever.
I will watch pretty much anything Lance Henriksen is in, even if I know it's going to be garbage. So I'm in. I watched Vinegar Syndrome put out a movie called Mutant Hunt from 1987. That pretty fucking good. Like, it's like a, extremely cheap sort of post-apocalyptic whatever movie that I believe was a Full Moon movie first. But
I think so.
Back when Full Moon was like making good movies,
not doing fucking Corona zombies or whatever the fuck.
When they were actually like making and releasing movies that had like some sort of budget. It's pretty fun.
I started that one on Tubi and I need to finish it. the guy like 15 minutes in was like, I am not in the mood for this.
Did you get to the part?
And also, it was like a VHS rip that someone filmed on a cell phone that got put on Tubi.
Yeah, it checks out. The Vinegar Syndrome release is
What a service.
pretty great. Like it's like extremely clean for like a 1987 movie.
The fucking cover had me sold on it.
Yeah, I didn't realize, like, I'd seen the cover for it, like, forever, and I did, because, Vinegar Syndrome has, like, the, whatever artwork they commission for their releases, so I was like, oh, I don't know what this is, and then I opened it, and, like, the reversible sleeve was the old cover, and I was like, oh, I've seen this, like, forever. It's pretty good. There's a pretty fucking insane fight where, like, they burst into, like, the hero's room, and he's just, like, sleeping with a robot, but he then fights a bunch of robots in his tidy whities for, like, 15 minutes.
Fuck yeah.
And then Caitlin and I recorded an episode on Ernest Scared Stupid and The Worst Witch, so I watched The Worst Witch for the first time, and it's definitely a movie.
So good.
I mean, it was very baffling watching that movie as a 40-year-old adult now for the first time.
Yeah, I could definitely
the
see
green
that.
green screen work, although perfect, absolutely perfect.
Amazing. I love
Tim
it.
Curry's song is the only thing I think I'd ever
So
know
good.
from it, and it is insane.
Yeah.
All right, shout outs, Kit. We want to shout out.
I've got a double shout out, and I've already touched on both of them, and it is Heidi Klum and The Viewing. Just go watch The Viewing.
Heidi Klum worm.
All right, Katie.
Mine is also Heidi Klum worm, and that you should follow Shayne on Twitter because he is very funny.
Oh, I don't know if that's true,
Wait,
but you should follow me because
What's Shayne? Not this one, right? Because I follow him, and
yeah.
No, you know what? I think that I a lot of times will see stuff that you'll share that it's like if you listen to our podcast, it's like very prevalent because you're always also watching trash, but you dig up a lot of like gems that I've forgotten about, and I'm always like, oh my god, I need to watch that. I'm gonna add it to my watch list or whatever. So, and your dog is cute.
That is true,
Yeah.
Bowie.
just follow Bowie.
Yeah.
Shayne, you have something you will shout out?
Oh man. How about if I'm just gonna shout out the movie Stone Cold that we were just talking about because I don't have anything else. Like my job is all like marketing stuff, like music marketing now, so I don't really, without being like, oh, you should listen to this band that I'm promoting. Yeah, watch the 1991 Brian Bosworth action movie Stone Cold. It's real. It's like cinema magic. It's really good. It's if you just do a YouTube search for Stone Cold full movie, it comes right up. Also,
that's how you know it's
Twitter.
a good movie.
Yeah. Also, you should follow me on Twitter because I've lost a whole bunch of followers since Elon Musk bought it.
Trying to silence you, Shayne.
I
Wow.
am here for the continued downfall of Twitter.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing.
I'm gonna stay until it's the new MySpace just to watch it crumble and.
Oh yeah, no, I'll be picking through the rubble. Yeah, I'm not leaving.
Eventually, it's just gonna be me, Shayne, and Jeff Tiedrick.
Yeah, I'm gonna become Elon Musk's Jeff Tiedrick. Like every day, I'm just gonna log into Twitter and just every time he posts, I'm just be like, "You goddamn idiot!"
You fucking fool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to come up with some overly verbose, like, "Oh, the worms in your brain hath consumed too much this day, methinks." Or something stupid.
I'm gonna pay the $8 and become Jeff Tiedrick.
I don't think Jeff Tiedrick has a blue check.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
I'll be even better than Jeff Tiedrick.
He's gonna pay.
Jeff
Tiedrick
100%
will for sure pay.
My plan is to pay that $8 to get Patty Harrison back on Twitter and verified to just do whatever she wants.
That's. I support that. I'll pitch in.
my shout out, my friend Irene, former Pigster guest, is on an album that just came out by a band called Heretic Body Hammer that I haven't listened to yet, but
it's real good.
I love Irene, so go buy it on Bandcamp. Heretic Body Hammer 1 is the album title.
The best $5 you'll spend this week.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
There's a bunch of shit that came out on Halloween, like album-wise, that very excited to finally listen to. Their Middleman Records every Halloween does like a compilation called Grave Neighbors. It's just a bunch of like Screamo bands doing weird covers that Gillian Carter covers You Suffer by Napalm Death, so
oh, amazing.
Very in. All right, what we do next week? You have ideas? Because I have one. If you don't, that's probably terrible, but not this terrible. And I feel like if I say the title Sewer Gators, Kit is in.
Okay.
I've got an idea.
All right.
It is American Cyborg Steel Warrior.
I'm in. The title alone.
It's on YouTube. Which, again, is how you know it's a good movie.
What was it called?
American Cyborg Steel Warrior. I just decided to look through my watch list on Letterboxd.
Oh,
and it was either that or maybe
so familiar.
I know this movie sucks because the poster is incredible.
It's like not Pinhead in the background. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right. Oh, jeez.
This is like some of the best poster art. Every 80s and 90s like action movie has just incredible poster art, and then you watch it and you're like, nothing from this poster is in this movie at all.
It's like the worst thing you've ever seen. Yeah.
All right. We'll have a new Patreon episode at some point. Like I said, Katie was sick, so we haven't been able to record our next one, but I think we'll be doing that soon. I gotta talk about the Sharon Tate movie immediately.
Jesus Christ.
Is that the one where I feel it's like, somebody framed the Manson family?
No, so Hilary Duff stars as Sharon Tate in this movie where the entire last 40 minutes is actually they take out the Manson family, and then you find out that it was actually like a death hallucination or some shit. It's fucking it's so
from another
dimension,
and shitty. Like looking at herself.
Holy shit. Oh, that sounds insane, but also it reminded me, I was confusing that movie with another movie about Nicole Brown Simpson and how
oh no.
Yeah, O.J. Simpson didn't actually kill them. It was some like nomadic serial killer. That sounds just like completely deranged and fucked up.
Didn't you say the person who directed that Sharon Tate movie did one about Nicole Brown?
It might be the same person. That's what I was trying to.
That's what I'm thinking.
Look up.
That'd be incredible.
I have
almost definitely.
I have like a list on Letterboxd of every movie we've covered, and I can scroll to the fucking bottom of it to find out.
It's the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson is the one that I'm
thinking
of.
He also the same director did both of them.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh my god. This guy wrote Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers.
No shit.
Well, that's what's weird is like we talked about it when Katie first picked it for her part of our bonus episode. Like, his directing movies are those two movies, a weird this real shitty Amityville movie, but then he did like the 4-hour or something like Nightmare on Elm Street documentary, the 4-hour Friday the 13th documentary, some Scream documentary.
Oh, that one was so bad though.
Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman. Apparently he's just does documentaries and real shitty true crime movies. Because then he's also got Aileen Wuornos, American Boogie Woman.
Boogie Woman.
Yeah, the Sharon Tate movie, I watched it and I was just like, it's borderline unwatchable because Hilary Duff is fucking terrible in it, and then
Her accent is something else.
All of the hers is bad, but everyone's accent in it is terrible. That is just like wildly disrespectful to like I guess like Sharon Tate's sister had to make a statement about the movie after it came out. It was just like, this is garbage.
I'm not familiar with Sharon Tate, but I don't think she had like a fancy British accent, did she?
Like if
she like posh, floating between that and Rhode Island-ish.
If your idea is to make a movie where like actually no, you know, what if they reversed it? Like just have Roman Polanski get killed in it instead.
Yeah, honestly.
It's right there.
But yeah, you could join our Patreon at patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. Listen to our episode on Morbius. Perfect movie. You can buy merch and shit at our Store Frontier shop. Leave us a rating and review on iTunes and a rating on Spotify. Tell us if you could fist fight Bigfoot. And if you think Bigfoot's actually made of trees.
I think he might be.
I think that's my new conspiracy theory. I've been red pilled.
Let's spread it.
Bigfoot's a tree.
Yeah.
Bigfoot's actually an ent.
Treefoot.
You can
Treefoot.
follow us at I Hope You Suffer Podcast on Instagram. Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery and Kitrification of Blood. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face, and you can join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to the podcast in 8K Movie Club. Like I said earlier, we just released an episode on The Worst Witch and Ernest Scared Stupid, where I watched The Worst Witch for the first time, and Caitlin watched Ernest Scared Stupid for the first time. Absolute greatest moment in all of comedy is Ernest getting the dumpster lid smashed on his hand, and he just looks back at it like 4 times before yelling. It's peak comedy. Yeah, go follow Shayne on Twitter to see pictures of Bowie at Metal Shayne 2000. It's probably just pictures of Bowie complaining about politics and new metal.
Yeah, pretty much. Or like shitty horror movies I found on Tubi.
Or just whatever shitty horror movie or Steven Seagal movie Shayne's watching at the moment. Did you watch the one with Stone Cold and Steven Seagal recently?
Yeah, it sucks.
I couldn't remember if it was
horrible.
you or someone else.
No, that was me. It's such a disappointment. And it's like, it's bad too, because Stone Cold is kind of half-assing it, but Steven Seagal
no-assing it.
A, he's not even trying, and B, he's talking in this weird, like, patois, this, like, Cajun accent. I don't know. But, well, to be fair, it's the same weird Cajun accent that he's used in every movie past, like, 2012. This isn't, like, a new thing, but it's just weird. Like, he's such a weird guy.
Maybe that's what he thinks a Russian accent is.
It's baffling to me that he still is making movies somehow, and they're not for, like, the Daily Wire.
I thought you were going to say Alive.
I honestly don't think he is. I have a feeling that he made like 100 movies that were just unreleased, and he might be dead. Or
second conspiracy theory of the show.
Or it's just Weekend at
Bigfoot
Bernie's.
is trees.
He's just like a big fucking. They're just using him as a puppet.
Probably. That's the likely scenario.
All right, Shayne, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I mean, I suggested that weird Christian Loken movie.
Yo, that movie was actually pretty good, though. I mean, it's bad, but that movie ruled.
Incredible chair shot.
Yeah, I will say, I will be dying one day, and one of the last things that'll go through my head is that fucking chair shot to the window to make sure he didn't break the window. And the scene where they're, like, talking about all of their family's porn addictions for...
That was
30 minutes.
That was amazing.
All right. American Cyborg Steel Warrior next week. Directed by Boaz Davidson, who not looking forward to this because Hospital Massacre is pretty bad.
Can't wait.
Oh, he did The Last American Virgin. I don't think I knew that. So
see, things are looking up.
I don't think it is. If this movie doesn't live up to this poster art, I'm gonna be very upset. All right, I hope only cops pee, but why?
I hope they don't pee.
Yeah, me too.
I hope they never
I
pee.
hope their kidneys explode.